All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Moche Esports XL Land 2019 final. Let's get it going. GamerLegion versus Windigo. First map training, of course, joined by Over. Let's get this show on the road.
Let's get this game on the road. It's going to be Windigo starting off on their T side. We've got a little bit of utility here and there. A double flashbang and a Molotov. Windigo looking to go B, perhaps. They've got the bomb in upper halls towards toilets. Blocker already in brown holes. And it looks like we're going to be going a little bit slower this time towards B indeed. GamerLegion, they have been amazing in their performance against Furia. There is no other way to put it. It was a close game, but they played it beautifully. And even though there were some mistakes, some flaws here and there, and certainly perhaps a few overextensions by certain players, they were able to close it out in the end with a victory. Here comes Windigo, though. It's the first round is the pistol, and it's kicking off fully on B. Knock from sight. He finds one, and that's it. Oh, he finds the third as well. Poison and Victor return, though, and unfortunately for Existence, he's going to have to fight his way alone in a 1-on-2. Catches the first. That's a great aim onto Victor. Poison. He's got towards Oil. Existence, he's got the bullets, but not the HP. And it's back to a 1-on-1, 30 seconds.
And Poison, he'll have to be that man that bring the success to to Windigo this time, as he be able to wrap his way around toward the A site. I think he might have duped Existence here as well. I don't think he's yet to be aware of this. With that bomb to be planted, Existence finally going to realize he'll be seeing him heading around toward that connector position. Doesn't have, like you mentioned, all the HP in the world, and at least is carrying a defuse kit, but as Poison soon to realize. First shot to be missed, but there it is. Existence, he'll wrap it up. Poison the first to shut down the pistol. Windigo, they kickstart the grand final with a nice little 1v1 already. And I'll see Windigo on their T side grabbing that pistol to begin with. And GamerLegion, do they go for that force buy, or do they play it safe on the biggest stage for them yet and just take an eco?
Well, we're about to find out. GamerLegion, either way, this is an amazing placement for them coming into the grand finals. Moche going up against Furia. Nobody expected them to win, but they did it against everybody's wishes almost. Blocker out of mid already, though, and he's going to find himself the entry. It's an eco round, and they're not going to test the envelope here. They're not going to try and get themselves into a better spot early on. And certainly not with pistols. A smart choice coming out from GL. They'll be able to afford themselves the AWP. We do have Knock with 5.3k. That's actually not enough for the Kevlar AWP. He's going to have to go glass cannon. So that's a bit of a shame. If he had $50 more, he actually would have been able to pull off the AWP buy. But unfortunately, it's not meant to be, I guess. That kind of doesn't work out, but we'll see if that's going to be the choice. Yep, there it is, glass cannon. A bit of a concern, and by the looks of it, we're continuing the round as we should. That was a bit of a weird transition. Minute 44 seconds, and it's a gun round at GamerLegion. We're looking to take back home.
And with that first buy on that CT side, we'll see them playing again more of a standard setup as we do on CT train. 4 men out toward that A-bomb site with the quick rotate available toward connector, but going to put all their eggs in one basket here. 3 men over now towards B. We'll see Windigo reading this maybe a little wrong, but already not that it matters. It's Ships and Blocker that are able to open the account. First kills already going in the favor of Windigo. Scream luckily to reply with 1. HS to do the same. Back down to level peggings. 3 versus 3. The Scream puts 1 more on the board. GamerLegion, they're looking hot in this retake so far. They have the lack of defuse kit, though, that might play a part. And as Ships on the flank able to shut down Existence, there's Poison as well. And Scream left into a 1v2. Well, that'll see the round completely shut down as Ships able to finish. And even with GamerLegion on an advantage, not yet going to be the case. Windigo close it down at 3-0, and CT side now onto an eco.
That's going to be a bit of a poor turn for GL. They certainly were prepared for the take, but the flank got them in the end, and it's going to be a perfect start for Windigo, putting themselves 3 ahead, as well as now forcing a eco for GL. gives them a setup for the 4-0. 3 nades being bought up, kind of like this. They can certainly get early damage in, although it's going to be Existence caught in sandwich. A bit of a shame that he couldn't get the chance to even shoot once. HS finds a kill, but does not stand long as Windigo look to take A site rather quietly, or simply put, easily. A classic attempt. Usually you see this, but if you have an op or an AK, it can work. I don't think it goes with the P250 though, but I'm not sure. Perhaps somebody else might know.
Either way though, going to see Windigo. 4th round on the board, like you said, that will see T-side starting very, very well. It's interesting, as we mentioned earlier, that GamerLegion allowed Train to come through the veto in what one of their biggest, or if not the biggest, final that they've played in the entire team history. Train's a map that they've not really favored in the past. They've had some close games on it, taking VP 31-29 in overtime, but it was VP that found success there. And GamerLegion with 0% win rate across 4 maps, it's going to be a little risky already running the dangerous sort of aspect of just playing Train itself. And Windigo, they'll be at 4-0 up now. GamerLegion able to put a rebuy back on the board this time. AUGs across Existence and the rest of his side. They'll be wanting to make impact early, and with the way that we've seen them play so far and how good they've looked as an overall squad, we know that once they pick up rounds, momentum does start to shift in their favor. But still, GamerLegion, AWP yet again in the hands of Nork, this time supported by the Kevlar itself, and Poison, he'll be looking for the early peek. He tags onto Existence, down to 14 and very little damage to be inflicted back. Hampus playing solo toward that B-bomb site. I do prefer there is a second man quick rotate, which there definitely can be from the A-bomb site, but overall, Windigo playing for that map control and split across into a default. I do like it. HS deep inside of main though, and bomb to be collected, taken toward that B-bomb site by the looks of things. And Windigo, again, we know how passively and how patient they are on their T side, going to be wasting, or not wasting, but spending the majority of their time looking for early info, with first tag to be made and a minute left on the clock. Windigo heading around toward the B-bomb site with that brown hole control.
Yeah, they've got themselves set up for a bit of a B play once more. Although HS's position is pretty classic for GL, and he hears the jumping from Poison there. Certainly will now spring forward into action. He's going to go for the flank while the rest should be rotating back towards B. Not sure why the rotation went off of B, actually. That's a bit of a weird choice. Kind of trying to figure out why GL sent Knock off of B, but it's going to be a rotate back. 3 players ready for the defense. Knock first to fall. It's Blocker with an excellent entry. The pop flash works out though. Hampus is standing behind the site on an off angle a little bit. Hampus finds 2. It's not enough though. Poison and Bubble still able to refrag. HS from behind denies the plant. That's it. That's all he needed to do now. It's back to a 2v2. They'll have enough time to plant, but it's at least a chance that Legion can win this round right here, right now. 5 seconds. The plant has to go down, and Poison will be there in time. Existence pushing forward. He will get the plant, but not the round. And Existence denies the chance to even return the fire. First one to GL, and Windigo will falter under the pressure.
Again, GamerLegion putting it pretty close in the 1 versus 1, but always know when that plant's being made, there's nothing you can do about it. You either lose to after timeout or you lose to the death. And yeah, it's a nice slight entry by Windigo, but smart play of Hampus to shut down 2, and then HS from inside of heaven. He was able to stay safe for so long there. As soon as he got the chance to peek, he was always going to deny that plant. 4-1. T-side able to put a reinvestment back in their favor this time though. AWP once again to be bolstered by Poison. That's going to be one of the more vital aspects Windigo will be relying on, not only on their T side, but CT as well. He has to be showing up here in GamerLegion. Again, the reliance on these AWPs, Nork as well, absolutely solid during this event and has to be in this final as well. The one thing that would kill off GamerLegion right now is if one of their star players went quiet, and that's what we've seen online in the past for some of their games, but
yeah,
more different scenario here on the stage, and that's going to be the proving ground for GamerLegion. They've done it once before, beating Windigo in that 2-0 LB final that we saw. Whether or not they can do it again this time, where it definitely matters most, where lives are on the line here, and 4-1, a minute 5 going to be approaching. It's Nork again that's on that B bomb site, looking to work with the AWP as they aggress forward. He does get caught by the flashbangs. It's Victor that's able to open it up here, and even with Hampus able to trade back one, it's Ships that rats him out, and traded by Blocker as well. A 4 versus 2 that might just see the CT side reset. The last man alive of HS and Windigo, they're already back in that driving seat.
And that seemed too easy for Windigo. I mean, I warned on the pick and ban or the veto that GamerLegion let Train pass through the map pool. They have yet to play it, or excuse me, they have yet to win it in official matches, and they certainly haven't really played it too much in the past. Wendigo, on the other side, they're very accustomed to a certain amount of Train games, and they've practiced it in the past, and they've certainly done their research on GL. They played them against them in the past. I mean, as you said, we casted them. They've had a pretty weird history together, and Windigo want to get a little bit of revenge onto GL, and yeah, this is their chance. Certainly would be a pretty big or pretty cold revenge when it's served on the grand finals of the Moche XL.
100%, right? For GamerLegion to win online, but then Windigo take the revenge on LAN. You can see the confidence in Victor there. He's a fan favorite, like no matter where he goes, he's like such a lovable guy. Like, yeah, all the crowds just love him. But like you say, if Windigo can bring the revenge to LAN against GamerLegion, it sort of definitely counters what GamerLegion did online in their final victory that they found. But still, with the fact that Windigo again have put GL back down onto their eco, a little bit of attack pause to be made, I assume, by Existence, wanting to just command his line, wanting to get his players on the same page for these next couple of coming rounds. And especially with Windigo on their T side, they've already got enough rounds realistically to be comfortable with, and the fact that they're going to be making at least 6 in this position, unless GamerLegion bring out an incredible force buy, an eco, then that's going to be the T side at least. Getting 6 on the board, and Poison already able to progress inside of Heaven. It's HS with a quick trade and back into a 4v4 already.
And Windigo now realize where the AUG was hiding all this time. They're going to make their move through Ivy, probably going into deep CT, trying to perhaps cross towards B later on, or even divert through old bomb train. Either way, Knock is close range. First to fall, it's Knock. No challenge. Poison finds the second in upper B brown holes. On site, that's going to be Hampus taking a bit of fire left and right. Screen coming in behind from T base, but he's a bit too far away, and he's going to go through B halls, looking for that exit frag, or maybe even an AK save. Either way, it doesn't really help GamerLegion too much, but it's an eco round, and if he can get away with the AK, it's better than nothing. As you said, though, Windigo, they're a scary beast when you have to consider them at their best, and certainly they're going to be bringing all the stops and all the guns to this best of 3. GamerLegion, they've got themselves a bit of a tough task ahead, and you would think after defeating Furia that they would completely be content with going up against Windigo and just saying, oh, this is easy, you know, almost in that kind of manner, being a little bit too eager to play and to win early on. So Windigo, they just might need to set them a few backlashes, tell them what their place is, and perhaps GamerLegion will realize in time, before it's too late, perhaps even for the first map, that they need to take this seriously and really just commit everything to it.
Especially with Windigo having a T-side advantage. They proved that against virtus.pro how valuable that was. But they were able to find like 10, 11, 12 rounds on Mirage and then end it so quickly as a 16-5, I believe it was. So yeah, Windigo are definitely here to punish, and with that 6-1 on the board, we'll see GamerLegion now being able to bring that buy round to fruition. Existence was able to save, but they at least have one guaranteed rifle, and knock back onto that AWP. He has to be such a strong player on this map, because the CT side of Train relies heavily on the solid use of an AWP. He's been playing toward that B bomb site in the most recent rounds and hasn't particularly proven himself all that well. Has died a couple of times, one via that flashbang that we saw where Victor found the kill, and if he's going to be quiet, that AWP is really going to be deemed useless. This time he is rotating back over toward that B bomb site as well, and they go once more, seeming like they will try and split across the map. Popdog looking to be taken. There are players inside and all around main as well, but We know they're a side that aren't going to be rushing into any sort of strategies on this T side. They're going to be taking their time looking for that early info because we know that GamerLegion are probably going to give it to them as well. We saw on Vertigo, even as a successful victory it was, that HS, Hampus, they all like to go for that info, look early for players and try and maybe even aggress smokes if it comes down to it. But this time, minute just gone under the clock. HS looking to play a little anti-flash out toward the back of Blue Train, and as that T side begins to aggress, it's a 2-for-1 trade. Ships and Blocker both able to find kills, but Existence levels it back off. He is down pretty low, but that's the same for both Blocker and Ships, but not that it matters. 3 versus 2, and with plenty of time to take over this A site. Hampus, he'll whiff a spray of his own, luckily still to deliver. It's Ships again, and down into a 1v1, an AWP battle to come. With 30 seconds on the clock, Poison, he'll switch out to a rifle. What a smart play to make.
And once before, Nock had already outplayed and outgunned Poison a few times in their past matches. This is where Poison gets a chance to really hurt them badly, almost, and turn the favor back in his way. Windigo. And they pull it off. Specifically Poison. He changed it out for the AK. Not perhaps the best of choices, but he's got 4 seconds and he plants in time. Nock realizes, well, or at least hears it. Ready for it, and spots him first on. Luckily that Nock doesn't have it scoped in. Poison could have been dead meat, but the timing, the jump, and Nock will lose the duel. Unfortunately for him, he's not expecting the quick peek, and Poison expects him to try and make a bit of a strafe jump, trying to perhaps go through the middle of the train and catch him off guard on the off angle. And that's Windigo keeping the charge, keeping the lead. That breaks GamerLegion quite heavily. It's going to be a rebuy, but it's going to be a bit of a lackluster buy. They've got a deagle on Nock, and, well, the rest are not as equipped as they should be. HS, though, dealing with the AWP. That's a bit of an interesting choice. Perhaps Nock wanting to switch out things?
Like it. HS usually not a man you'd see on the AWP, but it seems to be working out so far. GamerLegion on this somewhat scrappy buy round have been able to find 2 early kills to open the round with. Poison, beautiful shot to disrupt Hampus, though. He'll be shut down, and that's one of the rifles now to be lost. Nork on the back of the bomb site tried to swing off at a flash, but Existence able to close out Poison, make it 2. And that now sees Ships down into a 1 versus 3. It looks like GamerLegion, they finally have put themselves the second round on the board. It comes down to Ships, who'll be able to isolate the kills, but not find any of them. Second on the board for the CT slide, and at least to reinstate a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, certainly. Confidence is much needed. Well, second round, there we go. The economy not as bad as you'd imagine. They're able to drop a few of the rifles. A few of the, well, I guess, crucial rifles. Now, the important part is that they keep this up. Existence's flank worked once. It's probably not going to work more than once or twice. Perhaps it's best to not attempt it anymore unless the circumstances allow it. And certainly, GamerLegion, they were prone in the past to make mistakes with overextending, trying to get an early pick, not really having a refrag available, or otherwise a contingency plan in case of a loss of a player. And Windigo are known for reading well into scenarios like this and reading well into plays like this, and they'll be expecting those maneuvers. Now, once they get hit in the back, or once now they did get hit in the back, they will not be allowing this to transpire again. We're about to see a full buy round on both sides, and let's see how it all works out. Double up for GamerLegion, and I'm loving it. Although Blocker, look at this fast push through Olaf in towards Old Ladder. This could be, well, nothing really. Existence, a free kill.
Really nice idea by Blocker, but it looks like it just was read by that side. Victor and Ships, though. Even HS, they respond with 2 of their own and keeping the trade's Existence again as he closes down 2. GamerLegion, beautiful round out of them. Down into a 3-player kept alive. Beautiful way to close it out. Existence on an AWP, something you don't particularly see all that often. It works out. A 3rd round for that CT side, and they're going to be right back into runnings now, especially with Windigo finally losing a little bit of economy. They will be able to put a buy on the board yet again, however. Well, their bank is down low after, or if they were to lose this one. So kind of vital for Windigo to keep up the pace. You can see Very little left on that T side, whereas GamerLegion themselves now starting to feel a little more comfortable. They have a little bit of economy behind them, decent utility. All players minus existence on those defuse kits, and HS again, he's going to try and get aggressive. Didn't spot the left side of that player inside of main, or right side as we look at it. A little bit of information yet to be gathered, although HS, he will reposition. Smart way to do this, but does get caught out by ships. First kill in their favor, but Scream, he's been solid with the refrags this series so far, ensuring that his team stays in the lead. But Bubble, he closes down one. It's not to do the same. Back into a 3v2, however, as blocker to close. On to be planted, and GamerLegion again, another retake at hand.
And a mistake from Nock, jumping right in front of the bomb plant, revealing his position to blocker. And Hampus gonna lose the angle, lose the duel. That pretty much spells to existence he needs to save. GamerLegion, as much success they might have found in the last round, it's gonna be again loss for this one. Windigo, and 8 rounds in on the T side of Train. This is pretty much best case scenario for them. It allows them to not only be a little bit more comfortable in the position they're in currently, but they can start to experiment a little bit. Usually Windigo are not the ones to really stray off the beaten path, but if they do have a bit of an advantage, if they're feeling good, if they have the hype, if they are, you know, definitely feeling the crowd and all, they're going to be allowing themselves a little bit more freedom. And that is when Windigo becomes very scary. One thing I should mention is what we saw out of Windigo was on Mirage, one of the best strategies on the CT side we could ever see. And it's not even an intricate strategy or something we haven't seen before. Just the time and the execution of it is what worked out. And exactly this is the same with Train. We'll be seeing pushes coming out from all sides of the map. They're not going to be random like you usually see in certain teams, or most teams in a way. They're going to be very precise, and it's going to happen once or twice, and then they're going to move on to the next stage, or at least the next position. That's it. They're not going to repeat themselves, and before GamerLegion realize, they're going to be down a few more rounds, and that's going to start to hurt pretty badly. So hopefully Windigo at least have themselves a bit of a game plan for the near future.
Yeah, for sure, and especially considering that GamerLegion players going to be feeling the nerves, the pressure of the stage. I hope they aren't feeling too nervous about this with being in front of the crowd and whatever. In their own game, and they'll be fine. They've already proved that to us many times today. And Hampus, first man inside of backhaul with an auto shotgun. There's a first for him. Not too sure how he didn't deliver the second, but look at HS. He'll be on the flanks, and I think he has been heard. Yeah, but doesn't matter. Blocker, he'll be able to close down, and that makes it a 4v3. Bomb to be planted at least, and Poison now go for a little adventure up toward those ladder positions. But look at ships. Not that it matters. There's Nork, player that we want to see shining, the star of GamerLegion. Poison up toward the ramp himself, though. Still very cautious about the presence of HS. He's spooked them in this retake, and still, now that they know where he is, smoke to be dropped at least. I think Bubble, he might have spotted a player there. The smoke maybe... Oh, this could be perfect. Walk through that smoke as they try and get on the defuse. Its existence. Oh, perfect out of Windigo. And with no time left, it seems like the round. There it is. Won by the T side, and what a performance. Look at Victor. He's so happy. He's loving life right now.
I love it. I really do. Hype is real on the side of Windigo. And one thing to mention is, even with the push of not Poison, but Bubble. Yes, even with the push with Bubble towards side, if he had died, it was back to a one-on-one with Poison being in brown holes with a Molotov. So all he had to do is wait a little bit longer, deploy the molly. There was no snake available to GamerLegion, so the round itself was very safe. That's why we see that quick push by Bubble. That's why he plays that a little bit less coordinated in a way, because he takes the risks. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to Windigo. They'll be taking such smaller risks. And so far, HS pushes down mid. GamerLegion, it's pistols and Kevlar for them. Ooh, that's a bit of a tag on. Gonna hurt later on. But the Windigo 9-3, probably the best case scenario they could have ever hoped for in the grand finals of a $75,000 prize pool tournament. To have their map pick start off with a 9-3 result, make it 10-3 pretty soon after. I think they'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, definitely. They've started out as expected. For the status of this Windigo side, currently ranked 19th in the world, but I mean, when we talk about rankings, not that it makes too much of a difference for GL as they knocked out Fury at 5th in the world, but yeah, Windigo so far working well as a unit on this T side. We know their T side is really good. They proved that on Mirage against virtus.pro, and as they look out at another player down into a 3 versus 2, Hampus does have a rifle in hand, although believe been spotted, definitely heard. 35 on the clock as Poison to close down. It's all left. One big man Scream has to bring a 1 versus 3 to light, and with very little time to do so, his position already spotted. 10 to 3, double figures on the side of GamerLegion. Oh, sorry, on the side of Windigo. That CT side will be able to go back into that investment now, but yeah, 10-5, it has to be on the cards for them, or else GL, they're going to be really out of this first map before it's really begun.
Well, GL, if you take a look at the past performances, they have choked in semis and finals. They had issues. They, of course, have their internal issues they're still trying to resolve as a whole. But they are capable of winning. They proved that to us time and time again with the match against Furia, and overall just the way they've been playing throughout the entire tournament. And right now, it might be 10-3, but it doesn't necessarily need to end this way. 10-5 would be acceptable given the circumstances, and if they're able to close it out at least like that, we could still see some sort of a resurgence from GL. But overall, Windigo, they lose the entry, and it's going to be Noct that finds himself 1 at least.
That smoke fades, he might... Oh,
yeah.
My God, I think... Oh, he passed before the smoke faded. That's a free kill. Existence will be shut down. Smoke to be deployed and Molly to follow. They're trying to lock out this A site, but look at the fake they're making right now. Windigo, this is absolutely perfect blocker. He'll catch out one more, and the response out of Windigo. No, it's beautiful. Poison. He'll burn HS alive, and what a round out of Windigo. The final section of this first half, they bring out a fake, and GamerLegion, they fall for it entirely.
That is a pretty big disaster for GL. And it's not as much as about the fall of the fake. I mean, it happens. You have to accept it the way it is. And the bigger deal was the fact that they had 2 players on B. And Hampus even had a chance to get a kill or 2. Yet he didn't do anything at all. And obviously tried his best, but just didn't work out. A tough loss for GamerLegion. 11-3. Windigo. It's very realistic. We could be seeing 12-3 here. And with the buy that GamerLegion have, certainly looking like it. Ships pushing through Ivy though. 3 players there. So it seems like Windigo is going into a bit of a default themselves. Perhaps looking for a bit of a split, a classic split before 8.
Oh, that's no.
Yeah, pulls out HS. Free kill once more. Scream tries to spray down, misses his chance. Hampus will refrag. Hampus can't get a secondary, unfortunately. Knock. Oh. He might be coming at a pop. He might be unexpected. And certainly Existence is, and he's going to get the kill, but blinded out. That's back to a 1-on-3. For the half point, Existence, can he take it? 4-11. Or is it going to be Windigo completely dominating this first half?
Seems exactly that. It's a 1v3 that already his position has been known. Yes, he does have the AK to work with, but spotted from inside of Higher. Jumping out to that electric box, and this round seems like it is unfortunately already done for GamerLegion. That'll be Victor to put the final nail in the coffin. 12-3 to end that first half, and what a way for Windigo to solidify the first map of this grand final, going into a T side of 12 rounds as that half does change. And realistically, with how good that they've looked, a pistol round to put them up to 13 and the couple of ecos or forces to follow, we might be seeing a quick reduction of this first map, but it all depends how GamerLegion respond going into their T side. There is a world where GL can pull a few rounds back and start to change the way the momentum is flowing, but Windigo, they truly knew this was a punish pick for GamerLegion. They knew that as soon as they came into train with the weaknesses that this side has shown online and in their past performances, they knew that surely Map 1 was either going to be in their hands or a tough battle. But it's really looked like it's all one-sided for now. In second half to go live, it's all in the hands of GamerLegion to try and stop the fate. They either win this pistol round and keep themselves in the game, or it's going to be Windigo that at least go up to a 14-3 and start to hit home in this first map.
If Windigo take it home here, that's pretty much going to be map going their way. And right now, the CT side is what GamerLegion should be fearing. It's always been a fact they've had issues in the past as terrorists, and they're pushing towards B. A fast play, not even going to delay a single second. Ships, he's hearing everything, he's spotting everything, drops the first, it's knocked with the bomb, and there's nobody else to support it. A big mistake, GL. They overextend. Instead of going towards site, they push connector. They pay the price, and Scream will find a single kill. That's hit Hampus. Back to a 1-on-4, and the biggest problem here is GL, they don't go to site, they push connector. That's it, that's the issue. If they had pushed site, they could have refragged on towards Blocker. They probably would have been able to stop this victory, or at least this first kill. And Hampus back to a 1-on-3 at least, but with a minute left, no bomb control. Looks like Windigo should be taking this pistol.
Yeah, it really should, and yeah, I've got to agree with some of the opinions in chat. It's sad to see. It's definitely GamerLegion not at their best right now. It is Train, of course, a map that we could have already written off for this side, but with how good they looked in that best of 3 against Furia, the success that they found to win 16-11 and 16-12, it really set them up on a beautiful storyline. But the way Windigo have been able to dismantle them, just proving that, again, they are a very solid fan team and just an overall side in itself. And Hampus, as he's down to 8, it is Blocker to finish him off 13-3, and with the buy round to come now for Windigo, do GamerLegion force it up? Well, there's no bomb plant, so it's going to be a very measly force buy to say the least. I'd even just prefer it if they go for the eco to buy in the next. Windigo should be a 14th on the board for them though, and getting even closer to putting that 16th on the board, confirming that number 1 as their own and heading into Nuke to face the pick of GamerLegion.
Well, we'll see how it turns. And it's dust, actually. Not Nuke.
Yeah,
dust. Yeah, all good, all good. Happens to the best. And, well, it is going to be Victor. It's Victor, but it's actually Bubble that gets the kill. It doesn't really matter much. HS, he was able to pull away 2 CZ kills overall, but doesn't give him either bonus money or help their position in any case. This round is gone, and so is the majority of this map. This is where it's all come down to. GL, they surpassed a tough opponent, and looking back onto it, Furia seemed like just another day in the office for GL. Not even that complicated of a match overall. A 2-0 above all else. Although Windigo, they're proving to be the better beast in this case, and it's Pistols and Kevlar, as expected, should be also ending with a victory for Windigo, 15-3.
They're going to force out at least some great damage onto Nork himself. Finished off, and like you said, this is 15 on the board. This is going to be map point in game number 1 for Windigo. A nice attempt by GL, but I think Train is definitely not their map. Should have been, as we mentioned in the pre-game, should have been that insta-ban that they took, even if it meant potentially having to play Nuke against Windigo. It's a map that GL still themselves have been able to find victory on. Train is exactly not. They've had 4 maps played, make it 5 now, with 0 success on any of them, and that is sad to see. But obviously this is a map that they can now put behind them. They know that Train is probably not going to go in their favor. With 2 men already left alive, it ships to close out one of them, all down to Scream, and 36 HP and a Deagle to work with. That is 15 on the board. GamerLegion, the saving grace is that they do have one final buy round to try and prevent the inevitable. But Windigo have shown just how classy they can be in this map. A 12-3 on the B side is successful, to say the least, and to keep it clean so far going into 15-3. They're just proving that this grand final, GamerLegion, they're going to have a shock if they want to beat Windigo.
There is very little chance GamerLegion have to get towards overtime and then even win it. Of course, it's always going to be on the board until it ends, but this is it. This is the last buy. This is the last huzzah for GamerLegion. Windigo about to close out map 1. A pretty standard buy. We've got 4 AKs, SG, full utility, and a classic default being played out. I love this. They're not complicating the matter. They're going in easy. Slightly retracted. Although Hampus has been lost, HS will find the refrag. This is not exactly the worst of positions they've been in, but they can't really engage the solo fights. They have to go in together. And Nock, he's going to be calling for fate. And there it is. Blocker finds one more. That's pretty much it. HS Scream. All alone. HS, no chance. The game is gone. Or at least the map. 16-3. What a defeat. GamerLegion, this will serve as a warning. Do not pick Train against Windigo again, or just try to ban it next time. And, you know, if you do try to play it, you have to practice it.
GamerLegion, they saw the bright red trespass sign, don't trespass on Train for Windigo, and they read the sign, they didn't follow the rules, and this is exactly the punishment that they will